For the first time in humankind's history, we have extensive evidence that proves, without a doubt, you will never die. Great numbers of people are testifying that they have had extended conversations with their loved ones who are alive and well in the afterlife. As a result, they've become changed people. They no longer fear the end of this life, and they look forward to a wonderful reunion with their loved ones in the next life. I want you to have the same confidence you will live in the afterlife with your loved ones. This series of 4 videos contains examples of afterlife communication that will prove to you that you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. Hello, I'm Dr. R. Craig Hogan, President of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute and Seek Reality Online. I'm the author of 8 books containing the evidence there is no death and there are no dead. Your loved ones now in the afterlife are alive and well. Don't worry about the transition at the end of this life. It is painless and will end in a wonderful reunion with your loved ones. Today we have many thousands of testimonials and verified accounts of life after death. In this series of 4 videos, I give you examples from each of 15 areas of evidence. I then give you links to more extensive examples of the evidence. You can also read more of the evidence in my book, Evidence Beyond a Reasonable Doubt, You Will Never Die, available on Amazon. The first area of evidence of life after death is people speaking from the afterlife at length to people sitting in the room with a special type of medium called a direct voice medium. Today we have thousands of the recordings of people speaking to their loved ones whose bodies have died. They confirm that it was their loved one speaking from the afterlife. One such medium was Leslie Flint. In the recording you're about to hear, Dr. Dinshawn Nanji, a professor at Birmingham University in the United Kingdom, speaks to his deceased wife, Annie. She tells him things about what is going on in his daily life. They prove she is very much alive. You'll hear her speak, but her body is not in the room, just her spirit.
Why do you still go to the cemetery?
Well, darling, how can I pass your birthday without my...
I appreciate it, but I'm
Without
not
my
there.
presence.
I'm not there.
No, I know that.
And I see you go there, and it makes you depressed.
Yeah, No, I'm not depressed, darling.
No?
No, I'm not depressed.
And the flowers.
But the fact that I've cleaned it up and put the bushes around for
I
the winter.
know, I see you, I watch
Yes,
you
I was
do
there.
it, and I think...
I was there a week ago.
The only time I'm ever in the cemetery is when you go there.
Yes.
In this recording, Annie remarks that Dr. Nanji still has the bedspreads she bought on the beds in his flat. But she notices one of the bedspreads is positioned wrong.
And you haven't changed anything. Now everything in the flat is identically the same as when I left it.
Exactly. And
There's a difference though, the
Yes.
bed cover.
Yes. The pardon?
The bed cover.
The bed cover, yes.
What is there? Something different about the bed cover.
You bought those bed covers, darling?
I know.
The yellow ones?
Yes.
Yes.
But, have you done something to one of the bed covers?
No, darling, they're both identical.
Well, perhaps it is that they are the same bed covers, but
Yes.
there is something different.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why.
Uh-huh.
Perhaps it is the way I see it.
Yes. But they are very nice, and because you bought them, I like to...
I know, you keep everything exactly the same.
I like to use them.
But I think you... Are you sure you have it the right way round?
That may not be...
I think I'm right.
Yeah.
Because I think you've got one of the... When you have the bed cover, it is not always the right way round.
Right way round. That may be, yes.
I'm certain that is so.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look right.
Yes, darling.
In this second visit Dr. Nanji made to Flint, Annie in spirit comments on the fact that he had changed the bedspreads.
I see you have made a difference with the spread of the bedspread.
Yes, darling.
It was so?
I have even taken photos of the bedspread with half side on the wrong side and half side on the right side.
I know.
Annie could only have known about Dr. Nanji putting flowers on her grave, that the bedspreads were on wrong, and that he corrected the position of the bedspreads if she was alive with fully functioning senses and with Dr. Nanji unseen. The medium could not have known about any of these things and could not speak in a female voice. Annie's words are proof she is alive in the afterlife. We have many thousands of these recordings. For more recordings, go to the link in the description below. The second area of evidence we all live on after the body dies is from materialization mediumship. People sitting in the room with a materialization medium have their loved ones come into the room from the afterlife, speak to them, and even touch and kiss them. In this example from materialization medium David Thompson's recorded sessions, a man named Nick, who died 2 months before the session, materialized and spoke to his love Sarah in the room.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. You're okay.
Yes, you're okay.
You're okay, you're fine.
It's okay.
It's okay.
Everything's fine. You're amongst friends. You're okay.
Friends, yeah.
Just remain calm.
Just relax.
Relax.
It's okay.
It's just a bit strange.
It is strange, but
Yeah,
it's all right.
You just
Well,
take a moment to adjust.
Well, it's wonderful that you have.
Can you tell us who you are?
What's Nick?
It's Nick.
Hello, Nick.
Hi, Nick.
Baby.
She's here to
Sarah's
see
here.
Sarah.
Darling, I'm here. Sarah, speak up to him.
Yes, speak to
Nick.
him.
Nick. Yeah, I can, darling. I love you, baby. I love you so much. I love you. Don't ever leave me, okay? I know you're with me. Okay, my baby, just stay close. I love you so much, and you know how grateful I am for you doing this.
All those things that you've bought,
Yeah,
they're gone, they just lost.
yeah,
They were lost.
yeah.
Don't worry about them. I
Really?
knew you was there. I knew you was there.
Did you, darling? Was I enough for you? I just...
Listen to me, we haven't got long. Listen to me.
Okay, my baby.
Always remember,
Yeah,
I love you with all my heart.
okay.
I told you that just before I left you.
I know.
I'll always be with you, always be with you.
Okay, my darling.
Promise me something. I
Yes,
want you to be happy.
I will for you. I will for you. I'll make the best of what I've got here. For you.
Remember, whatever happens, we'll always be together or we meet again.
You promised me that.
I promise you.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Come with my heart, I promise you.
Okay, my darling.
I want you to be happy.
I will try. I am trying. I'm trying so hard. It's just such a shock, you know. But I'm trying hard. I'm doing better. I'm doing better, darling.
You're good, I know you're good. You're doing fantastic.
As long as I've got you with me, and I know I do, I just hope I've done enough for you.
Yes, you did. You was everything I ever wanted.
I was. I'm good. I just wanted to be enough.
That's why I died peacefully.
You. Oh, thank goodness.
That's why I had that look of peace on my face.
Yes. Did you see me when I went to see you?
I didn't think you put me in the coffin. I saw it all.
Oh, thank you, darling. I tried to do right by you. I tried to do everything I could. I really tried hard.
You done more than any man could ever want. More than any man could ever want.
Okay, my baby, because you know you were worth it. You don't ever doubt how much I loved you and how much I will continue to love you. Don't ever doubt.
Now, I really lined up for you.
Okay, my baby. Oh, I love you. I love you.
You okay, Sarah?
Yeah.
Good.
Materialization mediums are now holding sessions in which people's loved ones come into the room, speak to their loved ones sitting there, and touch and kiss them. We have thousands of such accounts, demonstrating that people who have left their bodies behind are very much alive. In the third area of evidence, we live on after the body dies. Researchers today are using standard audio and video recorders to record the images and voices of people living in the afterlife. The foremost researchers doing this work are Sonia Rinaldi in Brazil and Sherry Pearl in the United States. In these examples, you will hear the researcher ask a question while recording the session. When the recording is played back, the voice of the person in the afterlife is heard clearly, answering the question.
Would you like to leave a message to your mother?
Mommy, I can talk.
Say something to me in English to let me know I should use this.
I speak in English.
In these examples, parents of children now in the afterlife ask questions. Their child in the afterlife answers.
Alexandria, are you happy?
Adam, it's Mom. I want to know, are you at peace?
Jasmine, what you'd like to say to your dad? Say something beautiful to your mother.
Me too.
What else you'd like to say?
Don't cry.
Many people have learned how to make the recordings and are doing so on their own. They're further proof you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. To listen to more of the recordings, go to the link in the description below. The fourth area of evidence we continue to live after the body dies is appearances by people after their bodies have died to people who know them. In this example, Dr. Elizabeth Kubler-Ross describes an experience she had with a patient who had died 2 years before, appearing to her and speaking at length. Dr. Kubler-Ross was an internationally renowned physician, author, speaker, and expert on death and dying. She was one of Time magazine's 100 most important thinkers of the 20th century, and her 1997 book on death and dying was one of New York Public Library's books of the century. There's every reason to accept her testimony as a real event. This is a narrator reading the text from one of Dr. Kubler-Ross's books about her real encounter with a woman whose body had been dead for 2 years.
I was at a crossroad. I felt I needed to give up my work with dying patients. That day, I was determined to give notice and leave the hospital and the University of Chicago. It wasn't an easy decision because I really loved my patients. I walked out of my last seminar on death and dying towards the elevator. At that moment, a woman walked towards me. She had an incredible smile on her face, like she knew every thought I had. She said, "Dr. Ross, I'm only going to take 2 minutes of your time. If you don't mind, I'll walk you down to your office." It was the longest walk I have ever taken in my life. One part of me knew this was Mrs. Schwartz, a patient of mine who had died and been buried years ago. But I'm a scientist, and I don't believe in ghosts and spooks. I did the most incredible reality testing I've ever done. I tried to touch her because she looked kind of transparent in a waxy way. Not that you could see furniture behind her, but not quite real either. I know I touched her, and she had feeling to her. We came to my office, and she opened the door. We went inside, and she said, "I had to come back for 2 reasons. Number 1, I wanted to thank you and Reverend Smith once more for what you have done for me. But the real reason why I had to come back is to tell you not to give up your work on death and dying. Not yet." I realized consciously that maybe indeed this was Mrs. Schwartz. But I thought nobody would ever believe me if I told this to anybody. They really would think I had flipped. So my scientist in me very shrewdly looked at her and said, "You know, Reverend Smith would be thrilled if he would have a note from you. Would you terribly mind?" You understand that the scientist in me needed proof. I needed a sheet of paper with anything written in her handwriting, and hopefully, her signature. This woman knew my thoughts and knew I had no intention to ever give her note to Reverend Smith. However, she took a piece of paper and wrote a message and signed it with her name. Then, with the biggest smile of love and compassion and understanding, she said to me, "Are you satisfied now?" Once more, she said, "You cannot give up your work on death and dying. Not yet. The time is not right. We will help you. You will know when the time is right. Do you promise?" The last thing I said to her was, "I promise." And with that, she walked out. No sooner was the door closed, I had to go and see if she was real. I opened the door, and there was not a soul in that long hallway.
There are many other examples of people from the afterlife materializing and speaking to people who knew them. Two others are physician Dr. Raymond Moody's account of his grandmother materializing in his living room and talking about Dr. Moody's childhood, and the author of the Chronicles of Narnia, C.S. Lewis, appearing and speaking to Bible translator J.B. Phillips. They are further evidence you will come to the end of this life, but you will never die. To read other accounts of such materializations, go to the link in the description below. The fifth area of evidence we live on after the body dies is that state-licensed psychotherapists are helping grieving people have afterlife communications with their loved ones in spirit while sitting in their offices. Many hundreds of psychotherapists are using the procedure successfully, resulting in an immediate reduction in grief for their patients. Dr. Alan Botkin, a psychotherapist who was on the staff of the North Chicago Veterans Administration Hospital, originated the induced after-death communication procedure. I'm going to play for you an example of an induced after-death communication. A man had a therapy session in which he communicated with his deceased friend. His friend gave him a message for his friend's wife that contained evidence that it was the deceased man communicating in the therapy session. The account is narrated from the book I co-authored with Dr. Botkin.
I was very close to Simon and his wife, Darlene. In my IADC with Dr. Botkin, I saw Simon and talked with him. I felt he was okay, but I was really hoping to have a message for Darlene. She was not doing well at all. Dr. Botkin took me into the IADC procedure again to have another after-death communication so I could ask Simon for a message for Darlene. But this time I only saw two hands, a broad, masculine hand over a feminine hand. I felt they were Simon's and Darlene's hands, but there was no message. I was really disappointed I didn't have a message for Darlene, but was really happy at the contact with Simon. After my session with Dr. Botkin, I went to Darlene's home. I told her about my communication with Simon I had while with Dr. Botkin. Then I said, "Darlene, I'm disappointed I didn't have a message to give you from Simon." I said, "All I saw was Simon's hand on top of your hand." She began to cry, smiling and nodding her head. She said to me,
"Last night I had a dream. It was so clear it didn't seem like a dream. I really felt, Simon holding my hand. Jim, he did give you a message from him to me. He was saying that it really was him holding my hand last night."
Many thousands of people have had afterlife communications with their loved ones living in the afterlife as they sit in psychotherapists' offices. The communications reduce grief dramatically because they're real encounters with the person now living in the afterlife. For more such accounts, go to the link in the description below. These accounts from 5 of the 15 areas of evidence are proof you will continue to live after your body dies. There are many other examples in each one of these areas. You can learn about more examples in the links in the description below. The descriptions below also have links to the evidence from the other 10 areas of afterlife communication.